Welcome to this week's episode of the Pull List Examiner. This is my weekly video where I take a look at the top 3 comics that I'm looking forward to picking up when it comes to New Comic Book Day. And New Comic Book Day for this coming week is going to be April 19th, 2023. Honestly, it's a slower week, I think, than usual. But let's take a look at the top 3 that I do have. And if you want to see all the comics that I'm going to be picking up when I head to the LCS this week, you can check out that list in the description of the video below. Let's jump into the top 3. Starting off with number 3 this week, we have a total nostalgia pick with Darkwing Duck, issue number 4. I have continued to keep the series on my pull list since it was reintroduced. This is a reboot put out by Dynamite Comics this time. I have been hooked and have those memories of getting off the bus from school, coming into the house and watching Darkwing Duck at the end of the day. I think that they have done a great job keeping the artwork true to form of the old original cartoon, and the plotline stories that they've had so far have been fun to read. So once again, I am going to be looking forward to picking up this next issue, Darkwing Duck issue number 4. And at number 2 this week, we've got Yoda, issue number 6, part of the all-encompassing Star Wars series that are out right now. I have to admit, I'm getting kind of overburdened with the amount of Star Wars titles that Marvel has released. I believe they are attempting to cash in as much as they can. The Mandalorian season has been awesome. This third season that's been out for the last month or so, and I think that they continue to hype up as much as they can with the Star Wars series, and there is a lot of speculation that happens, I think, in the Star Wars comics, because I think there is so much popularity, and it's kind of unfortunate, but the side effect is you get to pick and choose which titles are good and which ones aren't, and be the discerning reader. So I have to say that of the titles that are out right now, I really have enjoyed Darth Vader, but this new Yoda title has also been a great read. If you look at some of the story that we get about Yoda in the movie canon, you know, out of the 9 episodes of regular Star Wars plot, you know, there really isn't much about Yoda. We see glimpses, but really here we get to see a really cool backstory about Yoda. The first few issues focused on him taking care of a planet in the Outer Rim, and now there was this next arc where there was some interaction with Count Dooku, and now we're heading into, I think, a third arc, and it has been fun to read. So if you are a Star Wars fan and you want to know which of the mini titles to pick up, I'm going to recommend Yoda. And finishing out this week at number 1, we have Punisher, issue number 11. This is put out by Marvel Comics and written by Jason Aaron. The title has been on my top 3 before, and I really like the crossover work that they did with Daredevil, as they have shown how the hand and the fist are at war, and Daredevil and Elektra have risen to that top-ranking role, and Punisher has done the same, and there has been some really interesting backstory that they've introduced. There's flashbacks throughout pretty much every issue, I think, that gives you some Punisher history, and Jason Aaron has done a great job with this title, in my opinion, bringing the story together. It's been an intriguing read and makes me want to keep reading more. And as the Punisher has pretty much lost control, and this may be a spoiler, so if you want to skip ahead at this point, they have decided to send in the crew to stop him, and that crew, we found out at the end of the last issue, were the Avengers. So it looks like we're now heading into a Punisher versus Avengers storyline, which I think is kind of exciting. So we'll see what happens. I feel like this issue has a lot of promise if it's done well, and made it to the #1 spot on my list this week. Thanks again for watching this week's episode of the Pull List Examiner. I will say, if you notice my full list of comics this week, you'll notice something that wasn't on my list that usually almost makes my list every time, which is Nightwing. I think it's issue 103 this week. And I have to say that this Dawn of DC event has been hit or miss for me. I really am not interested in some of these reboots that they're coming out with, but I am looking forward to reading Nightwing still. It's still been a good series. I'm really looking forward to Green Lantern #1. Being a big Green Lantern fan, it would be great to have a regular Green Lantern series back once again. So I'm looking forward to that returning, and hopefully you are reading some of these comics too, and some of the comics in my list, some of these new Dawn of DC comics. And if you are, hey, anytime, drop recommendations in the comments below, and always feel free to like, subscribe to my videos, and we'll see you next time on the Pull List Examiner. Always remember to read them, bag them, and board them. Have a good one.